What's up, everybody? Today, it's gonna be kind of a smaller video, but it's gonna talk about something that I'm really hyped for. Sorry for doing it so late, but I just saw the article and I was really interested and excited to share it with everybody, honestly. So let's get into the meat of the subject right away. On the docket, we have 3 DLC that have been added to the season pass of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Now, those 3 DLCs are pretty interesting if you look at them from my point of view, and I'm sure they are going to please pretty much everybody, because some people might hate the first one, but the second one is going to be up their alley, vice versa, and the DLC number 3 is just a nice icing over the cake. Let's get into it. The first DLC reads as follows. The new additional campaign, import your character from the main campaign to the moment of their greatest triumph, their victory over the World Wound. Now, many people speculated that this is going to be pretty much right before you fight Aurelu Vorlesh. In time, how is this going to set? Let's think about it. So, you're going to be offered to partake in this weird new campaign that's going to be really hard at your max level and max mythic level with the character that you love so much and your party. I think this is a pretty cool idea, and for those who don't want to do it, I'm sure there's going to be like a box you can check off to not have the prompt even, and just go to Aurelu in the normal game and do this afterwards. Answer a plea from a powerful entity and leave Galarian behind to defend the space-time continuum against imminent collapse. Use your unparalleled mythic power to battle with truly invincible opponents. This campaign offers 7 to 8 hours of gameplay. Now, I'm assuming 7 to 8 hours, but it's probably more gonna be like 10-ish hours with all the side quests and everything, because yes, there is side quests. Before we go any further, I'll just put the spoiler tag here. This is all available information. What I'm gonna talk about later is not. So for example, there is a Redditor that did a Reddit post on the subreddit of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and they data mined some stuff from the DLC. So obviously this is going to be spoiler. We're going to go over DLC number 2 and 3. We're going to share our thoughts and everything, but then we're going to take a look at the Reddit post, and if at that point you don't want any spoilers, I suggest you just sign off, which is going to be fine. But for the time being, let's go over DLC number 2. New additional campaign. The demon attack on Canabris changed the lives of many. While the mythic heroes and their loyal companions were busy liberating the city, the common folk had to find a way to survive, relying only on their humble skills. Band together with other survivors and try to reach the Defender's Heart's tavern, the last foothold of the Crusaders forced in the city. Choose who will join your group and make difficult decisions about allocating scarce resources. Remember, in fire-ravaged Canabris, every scroll and potion could make the difference, not only in an individual fight, but also in your very survival. Act in the group's best interest or focus solely on your own well-being, import your choices to the main campaign, and look forward to seeing the story develop in other DLCs. This additional campaign offers 6 to 7 hours of gameplay. So this is like the total opposite of the other DLC, isn't it? Like you basically take a very low level campaign, probably without any mythic levels or anything, and you're gonna go from a very low level campaign with no magic items to the Defender's Heart, which is the tavern defense scene in the campaign in general, which is at the beginning of the campaign. So we're gonna assume it's gonna be like the first big, like while you're traveling around in Canabris, searching and everything, this is gonna be like probably a level like 1 to 4 or something. I can see a lot of people loving this one, but I also can see a lot of people loving DLC number 1. I don't think those two are for the same person. Personally, I'm more of a DLC number 1 person, but obviously this is a safe route to take, and there is clearly something for everybody here. Let me know in the comment section below which kind of DLC you're most excited about. And if it's the 2, you can list why. DLC number 3, as I said, is kind of a cherry on top. So let's take a look at it. A new roguelike mode with partial integration to the main campaign. In Alushinria Port, climb aboard the cursed ship that will transport you to a mysterious whirlpool lost amidst the Midnight Isle. Dive in and discover a dungeon whose proportion you can only guess. Go exploring in search of glory, loot, and battle, and come face to face with a secret that will benefit either Nocticula, the mistress of the archipelago, or her enemies. The dungeon levels created with random zone generation are populated with various enemies, devious traps, and secret room. You will return victorious to Alushinria, or else the cursed ship will return on its own, laden with trophies from the last expedition, to await new adventures. So this is pretty much like any roguelike. If you just played any, you know what this is about. I'm pretty hyped about this because I think this is probably what I'm gonna sink most hours into the game once I'm done with every mythic path you can ever guess. And honestly, this is gonna be really cool. I'm guessing like a Darkest Dungeon kind of vibes, and depending on how it's done, it can be really fun. I'm understanding why it's the last DLC. They didn't want to come out with it right away, but I'm definitely gonna play it when it releases and play it a lot, I'm assuming. But the 2 DLCs are more stories, and more stories is always great. The first one is canon to your character, and the second one is gonna be random civilians, but they are nonetheless both great campaigns and stories. I'm gonna go back to my face cam for a minute while I set up the rest. And I just want to reiterate that this is spoiler territory, so I would advise anybody who's not sure about that to just not watch. You don't lose anything by not watching. You'll see what happens in DLC if it's not for you. But if you're like me and you're just intrigued and you want to see what the hell they're gonna do, let's get into it right now. So, we're just gonna read the post. The post was made by Reddit user Ranadiel. I'm gonna post it in the comments below. It's not really it hasn't picked off that much, so if you like that data mining in general, be sure to go check his account. He did a lot for the game, and go upvote the post and whatnot. I'm sure he would very much enjoy that. So let's get started. We're gonna skip the first part because the first part is basically what I just read. So near as I can tell from what I have come across, the DLC starts while you are in Threshold, before you confront Aurilu. I think it is supposed to start right before the final map change, which is where the final save is made, but it certainly happens after Aurilu attacks your camp, as the attack's result is mentioned in dialogue. The whole thing is centered around the conflict between Vamalos, which is, in the Pathfinder lore, is like the guy who's in charge of keeping mysteries of magic from the ones who don't practice enough. He's basically like, hey, you need X amount of time and practice to learn this spell, because if not, it could be problematic for the universe. And Scylla Mesnik. I don't know much about him, but I do know he represents freedom and like chaos and whatnot, so he probably just wants magic to be free for everybody. Both of these are established Pathfinder characters that have wiki pages. If you want to know more about them, you will have to choose between aiding the forces of orders or chaos in this conflict, while putting up with both of them calling you excess instead of commander. I'm gonna find their Pathfinder page and I'm gonna put them in the comment below, just because right now I don't really know much about them. I know like tips and tricks of them, but I'll put it in the comments below and we can all watch it together. I'm not gonna stop the video for that though, because I just wanted to make this the moment I saw it. That feels zero line on the details. Okay, let's go into some side quest stuff. There will be side quests involving the storyteller, where you come face to face with Chalib and Devara, aka the two people that tried to kill him during the main game. Additionally, there's a side quest for Ilar asking you to deal with the spinner yet again. Although this time, when you come across the spinner, it is Luri pre-going evil. Or is it? Due to the whole space-time shenanigans, it's actually, speaking of the space-time shenanigans, they result in more than a couple lines from the PC that are essentially, aren't you dead? Yeah, so I'm assuming this is gonna take like maybe characters that may or may not be dead in the game, may or may not be whatever, so this is gonna be like a whole new take on those characters, because it might have taken them before. So this is pretty interesting. Looking over everything, I'm looking forward to seeing all of this in action. It will be interesting to see how people react to the whole story. My gut says it is going to be this divisive. Indeed, but I think you have a point, but definitely with the second DLC being announced to be what it is, I think people are just gonna enjoy it and just wait for their favorite DLC. I think more stories with your character that you created and that you're gonna spend like 120 hours with cannot be bad. Max level is definitely hard to play around, so I can't wait to see how they're actually gonna do it, I guess, but I'm hyped to see what they end up doing. And that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I'm gonna go back to this, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the videos. Let me know in the comment section below what DLC you're most hyped for, 1, 2, or 3. I'm mostly hyped for DLC 1, and I really I really hope that DLC 3 is gonna be as good as it sounds. DLC 2 is promising, but it's not my style very much. I don't like low level that much, but I will be playing it and exploring it as much as I can on release. That's gonna be it, guys. Let me know what you prefer. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe.